by reading about it and being your friend, and that I think it's what we were talking about with, you know, energy management and feeling overwhelmed. I think people can relate to no matter what, but there's this whole extra layer that you wrote about it so beautifully on your Substack, and about how it's impacted you. And you've said that you don't want it to be your identity. And it's so commendable, because to me, I'm kind of like, if I were in your position, I feel like I would just constantly have to be like wanting to explain this to people who maybe don't understand that it's ongoing. I think it's tricky for our minds to, or my mind, I'll speak for myself, to like understand infinity, you know, as a concept of something that doesn't have a start to an end.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky, one of the many tricky,
especially when it comes to
parts.
Illness.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was when I first got diagnosed, that was the biggest thing looking back that I found hard to get my head around. And I think that's why looking back as well, I didn't realize when I was in it, but had like a mini freak out. Because I think when you find out that information, that it's going to be forever, and it could cut my life shorter. And, you know, like, and it's not just, I think a lot of people think rheumatoid arthritis is like swollen joints. Mm-hmm. It's literally inflammation in your entire body. So it affects my heart, my lungs, like everything can be inflamed, you know. The joints are like a direct response, an immune response to the inflammation in my body. But I have to have like, I have checkups every 2 months to make sure that all my other organs are okay. Wow. Yeah, it's like inflammation of the body. So
when did you get that diagnosis?
I can't remember how old I was. I was young, because I'd been experiencing like various different things for a while, but it took a while to get diagnosed. You know, it was like, you know, months and months of blood tests. And also like however young I was, I think I must have been around, it was my early 20s. It was just before I moved to San Francisco, I think. And so it is kind of life altering at that point. But also like the medications that they were expressing that they wanted me to go on was all part and parcel of me freaking out a little bit, because they're not, you know, they're not just, the medications are pretty intense, I will say that. And I shied away from medication for a little while, and I don't live in regret, because I'm where I'm at now, but my left knee wouldn't have got so bad. But I feel like that was part and parcel with how my doctor at the time delivered the news to such a young person.
Totally.
It really was his bedside manner. It just scared me so much. I kind of like, I refused to I just turned my back on really understanding or knowing what was going on with my body. And some might say that was kind of irresponsible, but that was just how I dealt with it, I suppose.
And you don't know until it could have worked, or could have, you know, who knows?
But anyway, I'm on the medication now, not the medication that he was asking me to go on. I've actually still refused that right up until this day. It's like a very like life-altering medication, and so many different side effects. I'm on a really great medication now called Enbrel, which honestly has changed my life. I was at a very bad point, I'd say like 7 years ago. So much so where like there was one morning when I couldn't get to the bathroom. I couldn't walk to the bathroom by myself. And I think that was my breaking point. I called, like Andy had to help me to the bathroom. And I just was like, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. So I called my doctor and actually went on another amazing drug, but an incredibly difficult drug on the body is prednisone, steroids, but absolutely saved me in that moment. I was like walking again in like a day. But that continued. I was taking prednisone every single day, I think, for like 3 years, as well as Enbrel, which is an injection. So I inject myself once a week, and it's an immune suppressant. So it suppresses my immune system. And it's just the best. I'm not on prednisone anymore, thank goodness. As I said, it's one of the most amazing drugs, but it just ravaged my body. I think lots of people know with steroids, I put on a lot of weight, which was a very like cyclical, annoying thing, because then that puts on so much pressure on my joints. So yeah, it was kind of a difficult time, because it was the most amazing drug helping me live my life. But it was also like, yeah, it was pretty difficult on my body. But very grateful to have had that available, to be honest. But yeah, I think, you know, I've been on Enbrel now for the last 5 years, and it's just the best. It enables me to live a I mean, you know me, very from the outside and honestly from the inside, a pretty normal life.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you've had to deal with it, that you have to deal with this.
Oh, thank you. It just feels like it's a part of me, but like, as you've already touched upon, it's a part of me, but it doesn't define me. And that's not even me trying to make myself feel better. It's just it is just my mindset. It's never been like my defining moment. People will ask about it, or like maybe people will know me and I'll tell them like, or get to know me and I'll tell them like a few friendship dates in. It's never like the first thing that I necessarily talk about, but not because I don't want to. It's just not the first thing that like, I think to talk about, you know?
Yeah. And I think being someone who's, you know, as you wrote about it, fiercely independent, but forcing you're being forced to need help and have to rely on people. And what lessons has this taught you, you know, outside of that, even
that I can still be fiercely independent, but it's okay to ask for help, and there was never any shame around asking help. But I think when it got to the point of me needing help or asking for help, then that's like the realization, like this is real, this is true, this is my life. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But even just down to the things like even just vocalizing to my friends, like, I'm having a flare at the moment, I am going to come, but can someone else drive tonight? I don't want to drive, you know, things like that. It's just, kind of vocalizing my needs more. And then obviously just like, I think, you know, I had a knee replacement 3 years ago. That has given me so much more independence again. And it's, again, been very life-changing and transformative, even just having the knee replacement. But I also I still need help from time to time. Or even with jobs, like, I'm going to need an extra day, I'm moving slower. Or like sometimes with friends, I'm like, I'm moving a lot slower this morning. Can we like push our coffee till like 11? Because sometimes the mornings is just when my joints are stiffer. Like, I really can't not have a shower before I leave the house. Not through cleanliness. I have 2 showers a day usually. But I just can't move unless I shower in a very hot shower every morning. Yeah. That's just kind of part of my routine. You have to know yourself really well. And it sounds like you do now, but I'm sure that took time. It took a long time. And also with knowing yourself is then again like setting boundaries within that too, which is one thing I'm working on. It's tricky. Yeah. What did writing about it feel like? That post was so beautiful, and I'll link to it. And I'm really happy that you did that, and that you put it out there in your words in a more complete way. Yeah. But what did it feel like for you? Really lovely. And the response as well was like, you know, this was on Instagram and on Substack. Because again, I was like, do I want to write about this? Are people here to listen to this? Maybe not. They're here to listen to food, and they're now listening to travel, and they didn't know they were going to listen to travel either. Or read, I'm saying, sorry, not listen. But I felt like I was having a bad week with my arthritis, and I felt like I wanted to be honest and talk about it and put pen to paper. And the amount of people that messaged me being like, thank you so much. This is really, I've sent this to my auntie that really struggles, or I've just read this out to my dad and he found it really emotional, and like, it was really nice to be able to relate to somebody. Yeah. A couple of people, because I'm like, in the grand scheme of things, young to have it. Rheumatoid arthritis is hereditary, but it doesn't have to be. Mine's not. I think a lot of people associate arthritis with elderly people, but rheumatoid arthritis you can get at like various different ages. It's an autoimmune disease. So I think lots of people were like, finally, it's so nice. I'm sorry you're like going through this, but it's really nice to hear another like 30-year-old's thoughts on having and living with rheumatoid arthritis. So yeah, it was a great connector actually. And I will probably write about it again at some point down the line when I feel like I want to or I need to. And I'm always open to people always reaching out to me about anything to do with arthritis, whether it's someone reaching out on behalf of a friend to get advice, or maybe you're the person that has it. My email DMs in ears are always open. But yeah, I like I said, I it's not something that defines me, and so I'll probably write about it again another time, but it's not something that I'm going to be. I had a conversation with someone recently. I'm actually working on something very exciting, a piece of writing that's going to be very exciting. But someone was asking me if that's going to be included in the large piece of writing that I'm working on. And I said no. There might be a touch on it, but it's just not what my food's about. It's not what sometimes it's how I might eat. Like I might cut out gluten for a little while because I'm having a bad flare, but it's certainly not how I cook for other people. And so, yeah, I might touch upon it.
That's your choice to be able to decide, where it fits in, where it doesn't. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. And I think you do that so well. You touched on this a little bit, that you recently and regrettably, cut out gluten and dairy, and I'm so happy to hear that that's been helpful. Yeah. Anything that's helpful. It has. Can you talk about that a little bit? Is this the first time that you've had to restrict your food, and with what you do and your love of food, and we talked about that. Mm-hmm. I'm curious what your background with, it's hard to separate food and body image, and especially just being everyone now, I've been thinking about this a lot. We used to get like 3-4 photos of ourselves a year that we would see, and to even know what we looked like. And now it's every day, like
every single day.
Yeah. So how, and actually, can I read a little bit from your piece?
Absolutely.
You wrote this so beautifully about the body changes that you mentioned in the midst of that. And you write, imagine living inside a body that you hate because it's hurting you, and in turn, not recognizing the person looking back at you, all because of this stupid disease. The resentment crept in, but again, I was very good at hiding it and pretending to everyone that I was okay with all of this stuff happening to my body, as long as the pain was at bay. And that's so beautiful. You this entire piece, like I said, was so tremendously written, but
thank you.
I think that sentiment of a couple things in there, of having to hide how you feel to just like put on a good face, really cuts off connection, and is one of the most depleting, spoons wise, I think, things that I can do. Yeah. And then that feeling of not recognizing yourself, or feeling like, it's all subjective too, but when our bodies change, or when we're not feeling well, and then knowing that, the combination of those two things, and then the other layer of food and eating, and that being part of your job in your life, I just think there's so much to that. So
yeah, no, for sure. And I think even talking about that in that piece of writing, it was kind of like transforming for me to even write it down and then look back at it and be like, oh yeah, that it really was how I was feeling. But when you're in it, I think what it is for me, actually, I look back at photos and I can see some photos and I'm like, so inflamed there. And I think that's from the weight gain from the prednisone, but also because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I kind of look and I'm like, I feel bad for that like girl back then. But it's because I knew what I was going through too internally, which was, feeling alien in a body and not recognizing the person that I'm like, that I'm looking at either. But you kind of just need to get on. Like, you kind of need to figure it out. And then you have those like couple of bad days, but then you kind of need to get back up. And that's just how I deal with it anyway. But I think, one friend of mine was just like, oh, I had no idea. Like, I would be vocal with like, I'm having a flare today, so I'm not going to come out. But not over the course of like the 7 years that I had gained quite a lot of weight because of the prednisone. It's hard to vocalize that because you're just kind of seeing it gradually every single day. And one friend was like, oh, I thought you were like comfortable with it. And it's just like, no, I wasn't. It's just, I had to be.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit there complaining about it. One, because it was happening kind of slowly and gradually. But like, no, I was never comfortable with not recognizing the person I was looking back at, but it just kind of happened so gradually and through the course of like dealing with so much pain that it just was one day, you know. So I was never comfortable with it, but I had no other choice but to kind of deal with it that way. But yeah, I think it's an ever evolving thing that I deal with. And I think for me, it was important to talk about. People message me sometimes being like, I really like that your food is focused and healthy, but you never talk about it in that way. You don't talk about it in a wellness way. And I've kind of thought about that more recently because it was never like a decision that I made. It just is kind of how I've always presented myself and my food. But lots of people appreciate that it's not like wellness stricken, but like it is like, you know, it's very Mediterranean diet style type of food, if you want to call it a diet, but it is just more of a way of life. And I think that's why I also wanted to be really honest and open with people that I was cutting gluten and dairy personally, because I think my persona is me, but it is also my food. It's kind of both things. And I wanted to be honest about the fact that it was very reluctantly that I had to cut gluten and dairy, especially gluten. And I also reluctantly to say it really, really helped, but it truly, truly did. But I wanted to be honest with everyone about that. It really helped me. But yeah, it brings up that question, doesn't it? Because me as a cook for other people, I don't really, I hate the term restriction. I think everything in moderation is truly the best way to eat. And so I was a little nervous about saying I was going to be cutting gluten and dairy, but you know, I was, and it helped. So. Yeah.
And you have the best reason for that.
Yeah.
You know? And not to be judgmental to people who cut things out without a reason.
It's everyone's personal decision. Everything when it comes to food and what you put into it is such a personal decision. I never judge anybody. But at the same time, I don't want to be perceived as kind of pushing one thing but talking about another. So I just want to be brutally honest with kind of what I'm doing as well, you know?
Yeah, and God, food and eating is so personal and it is so intimate. Feeding people, I think.
Yeah,
but I think I find myself, I don't want to call it judging, but I'll say it like this, we have so few sensory pleasures, you know. So when I think people like you said your perspective of everything in moderation, and even the way you were talking about this, like knowing that this is something that helps you and is for a very specific reason that's not prescriptive to everyone. Or I want to be careful how I say this, but I guess when I see people restricting in a way that is denying themselves so much, and takes one to know one, you know, I have a lot of experience in this, but it does make me, it's not as much judgment, or I guess maybe this is judgment. Maybe I'll call a spade, but it makes me sad. And it makes me, you know, when it becomes part of the culture of just, but again, you never know. And so but when you're close enough to someone to know, and when it's coming from a reason of, and again, takes one to know one, because we live in a world that's really mean to people in larger bodies because of standards of beauty exist, because of all these things, then of course that we want to control, and we want to, you know, have something that feels like it's within our control, and how, you know, how we feel about our bodies and all of it. And so it's just really, it's an interesting connection of that changes all the time for me, and it's something that is tricky, but I think the way that you speak about it so honestly is really important, and you do it so well, and I'm so glad it's been helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think even in this past year, you know, I've been even more, maybe it's because I live in LA, I don't know, maybe it's because I have an autoimmune disease, I've just been really focused on truly what I put into my own body, that just I want to feel good. I just want to feel like, and I don't mean look good, I mean like I want to feel good. And I think the way that I eat contributes to that. Like I eat so many vegetables, I eat really beautiful like protein, not all the time, like whenever I can afford good protein, I'll, you know, I'm talking like chicken and beef and fish. And so just fruits and vegetables in abundance, honestly, is the best way to eat.
And I also really, there's something else that you said that I want to pick up on of like looking back at when you aren't feeling your best, or just like taking away the physical pain that you're in, but when you the part of what I read about looking at yourself and not recognizing the person looking back on I think something that I've struggled with a lot, and we've talked a lot on the show about body image, and we used to a lot more, is having to continue, like you were saying, instead of dwelling on it, instead of
like,
because
go to the event, even though you're feeling like not yourself at all.
Yeah, and regardless of changing sizes, but also related to that, but when it affects beauty standards, right? Of like just you know have a pimple or your bad hair day or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, it can be a kind of positive feedback loop of like, I don't want to go to the thing because I'm feeling self-conscious about how I look. But when I don't go to the thing, I feel more depressed.
Yeah.
And then it's, you know what I mean? So
it might give you life going to,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But how do we know?
Yeah.
I think we as females, people have, unless you're female, so this is for all the males out there, you'll never understand what it is like to be female.
God,
I'm talking from like the day we are born. Truly, right up until now. Like my husband and I talk about it all the time. It's just like, and I love being a woman. I love it. But wow, isn't growing up crazy? Isn't being a 20-year-old in your 20s is nuts? In your 30s is nuts. You know, it's in all the best ways and bad ways, you know, but just trying to navigate life as a female is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the cycles alone.
Body image has been such at the forefront of, I'm sure, most of our lives.
Yeah.
If we had a group of 10 people right now, I bet that were sat here with us right now, I bet everyone has a story about some controlled eating situation, whether that's now, whether that's from when they were younger. We've all experienced it. And how wild is that? And I'm just talking like 10 people. I bet if we had 30 people here, everybody could relate. It's crazy.
Is that something that in the past that you have had a tricky relationship with?
Yeah, definitely when I was younger. Yeah. And I think looking back, it was during quite a tumultuous time in my life. My parents were divorced and I didn't think it was affecting me, but looking back, it definitely was. That was a way I could take back some control in my life. And I think it was, quite a difficult period at some point. And I think that's why I absolutely love food now. And I've always loved food. But I think it's going through a little restrictive period in my life, which wasn't really about the food. It was more about control. But it can be for many, we've talked about it. It's restricting food. It can be for many, many reasons, body image, control, whatever. But I think that's why I just absolutely love food and eating now, is because I've seen the other side of it as well. Yeah.
And I think often it's a combination of all those things.
Absolutely.
Or, I'll speak for myself. Like what started as this, wanting to feel a certain way, but then a side effect of that was getting to, without even trying to, getting compliments about how I looked or what I wore, and noticing how I was perceived and how people treated me so differently, and getting addicted to that turned something that started out very earnestly about feeding myself well and different from the way I grew up, morphed into wanting to not even eat as little as possible to become smaller, but just to remain there, because I didn't want that high of how I relied on that to be able to feel normal, you know?
Or you're like your version of normal. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think when I was going through it, this is the twisted way that, all of our minds work. Someone would kind of compliment, but I would be like, they're saying that to like try and make me eat more. Like I would twist it, so I wouldn't even take the compliment. I'd be like, they're trying to be like, or maybe they'd be saying like, oh, maybe it wasn't like that you look great. Maybe it was like, you're looking a little, and I would be thinking, you're just trying to make me eat more. You're like that kind of thing. So yeah, but like I know that feeling of like of people giving you compliments, and you don't, from my mind anyway, I don't even want to like it, but there is that feeling of being like, oh, well, that does feel nice, you know? And I think when I was younger and experiencing that, like now I truly don't want anyone to tell me, like, and I think it is more taboo actually now to be like, it's more like, oh, you look very well. But like back in the day, people were like, oh, you look like you've lost loads of weight kind of thing. It was like more kind of black and white back then. I think more like it's like socially acceptable to kind of like beat around the bush a little more now.
Yeah. Or
but
not
like,
talk about I try to not talk about people's bodies because you never know.
Totally. But like we do.
Yeah.
And we think about it. But yeah, it will forever be such an interesting subject, I think, and not to say that men don't go through it as well, but to all females, going back to...
There's a double standard for sure.
For sure. But like, again, if there was 30 women in the room right now, everybody would be in this conversation with us, would have had an experience or be having an experience about it. And it's crazy.
I think change is jarring. You know, I think my experience with this has been whenever I don't weigh myself, you can take away many of those. Even as a doctor, I like turn around, you know, all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to get dressed every day and put clothes on every day.
So you feel it there, yeah.
So you're just aware of and then that one you can't take away, and you can't take away other people's perception of you and how they treat you. And I think, or not treat you, but I have, you know, my mom has been in a larger body since I was born, and I've been aware of things that people have said. I was so aware of that as a kid. And I think seeing how, even though it's changed, the wording, like you said, has changed, the specifics of it, seeing
just
how
like
people...
society and how we kind of talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, it is there, and it is so pervasive. And the translation of things, like I wrote about this in a Substack recently, of mine, of like when I got hurt, because I've spoken about, you know, being in treatment for an eating disorder, and it's like something I've talked about, that a lot of people found me that way years ago, and even though like you, I rarely talk about it at all anymore, because of the reason of like, oh, this is like, everybody has this, and which is awful but true.
Yeah,
it is something that people often talk to me about because I've opened the door to.
Definitely.
And I got so many messages from people when it was clear I couldn't walk, of very, you know, kindly, but people were just very direct of like, are you worried about gaining weight? Are you worried about that? And I was like, you know, I wanted to be like, no, but now I am. But the truth was like, yeah, I was, but I didn't want to be, and I didn't want to think about it. But now you're asking. And so anyway, I wrote about it, and something that I think is interesting in the way you articulated that was so true, of like that negotiation that we do in our heads, or not that translation, where I found like when I changed sizes most I guess, and had gained weight from being when I was much younger, people kept saying over and over again the first time they saw me since, like, oh, you look so healthy, and I knew that meant you have gained weight since I saw you last, even though they were trying to be kind. And so even now when people said that to me recently, I'm like,
great.
Which again, like, it's like
great.
And so it's all like we all have all of these like perceptions, and it's just this big wild soup that is...
It's a wild soup.
That is, you know, kind of goes back to, you know, even the conversation around palates and food, where it's like, it's so specific. It is truly wild to me though, that like food is so fun and art and enjoyable, but like it's one of those art forms, you know, when you go to a movie, it doesn't affect you physically necessarily,
But food does.
Yeah, and it's a really intertwined in a way that I don't think I'm articulating well.
No, you totally are. And even like touching upon that, food is at the crux of so much community, anthropology, like, history, us talking about what we're talking about now, like food control, disordered eating. It's also about community, bringing people together, exchanging wonderful recipes.
It's very intimate.
It's such an intimate form of, it's not just art, it's sustenance too, like it truly is the crux of everything we do.
Yeah. And I've often thought about this, like, in terms of control, like, I think often for people that is such a slippery slope because, the thing is, like, it's completely, if we think about death, it's like we're all on our way to dying.
We know that for a
fact. Everyone we know and love is also we're gonna lose, or we're gonna go for it. Like, that's insane that we're not talking about that all the time, if you really start to like get esoteric.
We're just like living our cute little lives, just knowing that that's gonna happen. But
totally wild.
Yeah.
So I think about we have to do things to make us feel better about that. So people turn to many addiction or work or religion or whatever to just get through, and then often to heal not to heal those things, but to manage those. You can practice abstinence for a lot of addictions, but food is one that, like, you have to do harm reduction for. Then to be able to enjoy it's so interesting I guess some of this is self-serving, but for my friends like you and like Kate and I've talked to her a little bit about this, and I've spoken to a lot of people. My friend Maddie is similarly, she loves you and she makes your potato recipe.
Oh, the potatoes.
Yeah. But she's someone who loves food so much, and like a meal can make her cry, and has this
I've definitely cried over food before.
Yeah, and I admire that so much, and yet sometimes it puts my baggage that we all have, that you do and we all do.
Absolutely.
I can sometimes feel sad that and again, we all do this. I'm not making myself special, but I'm so far away from that with it, even still, where it's like,
where the pleasure is just truly still not like
pleasurable. And for so many years that was just, now I'm like, I missed out on so much of my life to even consider that. And again, it's complicated for everybody, but it just sometimes it's very good and helpful for me, and I think for people who have been really restrictive, to have expanders and people that they can
see and experience from.
And you and Kate, because even too, it's like, it's not appealing to me to look at, like you were saying on the Taste podcast, like the types of food that's
like the food porn clickbait.
That's just never not gonna do it for me. But I think something that is really expansive, and to be excited about going out to eat and having a drink, and like I sat on my hands for so long that it's like, all right, this is it's more important than, it's so unfrivolous, and anyway, it's a total tangent.
I completely agree. But it might be something that you're always working on, and that's okay. That's also absolutely, that's how it will be. And I think that is something that probably us as women are always working on, all of us.
Yeah, and like
in some way, shape, or form.
It's not something to. I think I can get sad about the double standard. I think that goes outside of even body image, but just of aging. I think that's hitting me hard lately. But
totally, I was having this conversation with someone last night.
Yeah, I think that that's a whole nother podcast, but
it is. Well, I'd be happy to be included.
Okay, great.
I'm really enjoying getting older, but maybe that's because I'm at a place in my life where I feel like whatever. But I've never had anything done to my face ever. But I have been considering Botox, and oh my goodness, trying to tell a group of ladies at the table that you're what a polarizing conversation that is. Even as like a 38-year-old, like a few of my friends were like, absolutely not. And then someone was like, you do you. And I was just like, well, I didn't leave with any clarification here. So, but yeah, that's another podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm glad we're like touching on all of this stuff in this one too, because something that I have spoken to Kate about actually is the more that what's interesting about talking about food and eating out and eating with people is, like we said, there's an intimacy to it where you get to know some of these things about people, and you get to know. And we were saying a mutual friend of hers and I's talked to me about their complicated relationship with food, and was someone that I never would have expected. And it just goes to show that everybody, we hide things well, and we all kind of have this, and it's
totally,
if you don't really want to talk about it and make it an identity, but I think it is comforting to not feel alone in it to an extent.
Yeah. And I think it's okay to feel comforting as well about it, and to feel comforted about it, knowing that you're not the only person having those thoughts and feelings around a specific thing. Kind of going back to my arthritis and people messaging me about the fact that me vocalizing it, they would never have known, but were so grateful that I was speaking about it,
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I could talk to you forever, but we must get to the asking for a friend portion, because I have so many questions from your friends that we have to get to. But
I'm very excited.
Let's just take a little intermission and let's talk about LA a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it feels like place is really important in your work. And I know that we both really love living here. Yeah. And I'm going to give you a couple rapid fire, this will be kind of hard, but just kind of say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
And it'll be a time capsule, because next year it'll be different.
Love.
Okay. These are favorite place to, and then I'll give you in LA for this. Okay. I was going to say for coffee, but for you, I know it's matcha. So favorite place to go right now for matcha with a friend or by yourself.
I feel you already know this already, because we see each other there all the time. It's either going to be, can I pick two places?
Yeah, please.
And I literally see you at both of these places all the time. It's going to be Canyon Coffee, obviously, or Amara Cafe.
Okay, great. For people watching.
Canyon Coffee.
Yeah,
that's the popular answer to everybody.
Overhearing conversations.
Yeah.
Okay, a long catch up with a friend where you can linger and it'll be more spacious any time of day that you want.
Highly likely cafe.
Great. Best small. Oh, what did I write here? These are all very what I want to know. Best food that's something small where you're, maybe not too hungry, but you definitely want to have a snack with a friend, maybe a glass of wine.
Barra Santos.
Great. Best oysters.
Queen Street. Without a shadow of a doubt. Or Found Oyster, but, same people.
Best salad.
Sam's Place at the moment. I am such a salad freak. Sometimes I'll order the same salad twice, so I have a big salad. I'm a salad freak.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking in the same sitting, I'll be like, can you put that in a bigger bowl? I'll order two. Sam's Place. But I will say close second is the Queen Street with the salad with the dates.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my God, it's so good. But the salad at Sam's at the moment with the little crunchy, crackery things in and the cheese. It's amazing. Sam's Place.
It's so good. I had that, Heidi and I.
The herb salad it's called.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good.
I also, my friend has been going to Jar for many, many years, and we go.
I'm still yet to go.
We'll have to go.
Oh my goodness.
I've only ever been with him, so I feel like I don't even wouldn't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
But I order 2 salads whenever I go there, and one is I call my dessert salad because it also has dates, and it's similar. It has a similar vibe to that one.
Yeah.
And I had a really good salad. Oh, I hadn't been to All Time before, but I went with Lauren and that group of friends.
The best, right?
That big, I think it is called
the big best salad or something. It's so good.
Really, pumpkin seeds. I love pumpkin seeds on a salad.
Yeah.
Best breakfast.
Best breakfast. Can I pick 2?
Yeah.
Depending on my mood. Oh, I'm going to pick 3. I'm sorry. Courage for bagels without a shadow of a doubt.
I've never had that.
Oh my, Katie. We have to go.
Okay, great.
We have to go. Juste for anything and everything. And then Amara for their breakfast burrito. I don't care what anybody says. Their breakfast burrito is my favorite burrito in LA. It's so good. And the tortilla is so good.
I have gotten that burrito, of course, and I do love it. But
With the purple potatoes?
Yeah, I don't get that there, though. I get the... I can never remember if it's the green eggs or the purple eggs.
The green.
Green?
Delicious.
Because it has... not the one with the patties.
No, yeah, the green eggs.
Yeah, and it's the...
So
that's like my one meal here that I like get
I mean,
often.
Everything at Amara, quite honestly. And
I really do love it.
their matcha Arnold Palmer with their matcha rose Arnold Palmer. The best drink ever.
I'm not a matcha guy, but do you like chai?
I like chai, but I don't drink it as much.
I don't either, but theirs is particularly good.
I just love Amara.
And it
just so happens to be like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I pointed to it.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite food memory in LA?
Favorite food memory in LA is pre-pandemic. My friend Danny and Andy, my husband, and I, this is when we first moved, and I'd say it was like the first 6 months. We were living here. We would go out every Friday for like far too many mezcal old fashions, and we would go without a shadow of a doubt to Leo's taco truck on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was just a ritual that for some reason I think it's because we don't live in Los Feliz anymore, but we just don't do it anymore. We don't drink that copious amount of cocktails anymore. But it was like without a shadow of a doubt, we'd even go for like dinner, then cocktails, but we'd still go for tacos after.
So fun.
Every single Friday. Yeah, Leo's, yeah.
I love a weekly standing date. I lived really close to Superiority Burger in New York.
Still never been.
Oh, you have to go. And
Yes.
they had, only on Fridays, they would do focaccia. And so we would get the salad, and it was, they did all different kinds.
Gorge.
And I love a weekly standing date.
Yeah.
Best date night spot. If you were going to go on a date, where would you go? Where would you recommend?
So Marvin on Beverly is our date night spot. Even if a two-top was offered to us, we would never take a two-top. We always sit at the bar without a shadow of a doubt. The wine list's fab. The food is insane. And it's a restaurant that's been open, I think, for maybe like 10 years. It's just still so good. And it's just a perfect, like the lighting and like the staff. It's just a perfect date night.
Oh, great. Never been.
You need to go. We need to go.
A date night?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other, that concludes the LA portion of the rapid fire. Anything else that you want to add LA wise, that you want to recommend that we didn't cover?
Not really. Just like if you ever want to find me, you'll either find me at Queen Street and then the pipeline to Capri, or back, start Capri and then go to Queen Street. Truly, if you need to find me anyway, that's usually where you'll find me and Kate.
Good to know. I might be using that information.
Yeah. It's like Apple Find My, but you don't need your phone.
Yeah, totally. Okay, that is useful because I used to be able to just walk down Fig and see her. So.
Well, maybe she's gonna come back.
I know.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
We're talking about it as if she'd like crossed the pond.
No, she's literally in Silver Lake.
Okay, so what is your advice for someone, we'll say, who doesn't really like cooking but wants to cook more?
Advice, I would find one dish that you maybe enjoy eating but find enjoyment cooking, whether that means it's a long laborious thing because you enjoy the chopping part of it, or it could be the reason that you like it is because it's super quick. But find a reason to want to make even just one thing. For me, I love obviously all different forms of cooking, but I love prep. I love, if I've got a dinner party, I'll usually purposely pick quite a laborious thing to cook because I absolutely love cutting the vegetables. Going back to when I worked in a bar, I would be always volunteering to cut the lemons and the limes because I just like the process of getting things together in their little portions. And so some people might take pleasure in that, but some people might just want to heat up some beans and put it on toast. But find the pleasure in making the food.
That's a really good one. Okay, it's in the name of your Substack, and we've been talking about doing a soup night forever. Favorite soup to eat?
Oh, this is a very difficult one. I already talked about it. It's called Scotch broth.
Oh, right.
It's basically lamb shanks cooked with vegetables. It's almost like lamb minestrone, but it's got like really beautiful, like plump pieces of pearl barley in it, and it reminds me of Nanny. It reminds me of home. I don't make it that often because it is kind of long. It's a braise. And I'm going to add another one in there, minestrone, without a shadow of a doubt. I make probably some version of minestrone throughout literally the entire year, once a week. So, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Cafe June, my soon-to-be favorite restaurant. What if maybe there's just a part of the vision or something new that came in, or what do you think?
Sure. If I ever open anywhere, it's going to be called Cafe June, after my nanny, after my grandma, June. It'll be a small little place, maybe 15 seats. It will be a cafe. We will serve cafe food, cafe style food from my lens. But we might open Thursday, Friday, Saturday night for wine and dinner. And it will be such a hub of the community because I will make it that way, which I think it will just be because all of us guys will just be hanging out there. It will only be a blackboard menu. I don't want menus. And it will be a space for other people to gather. People have been so beautiful and courteous in opening their spaces for me to do pop-ups and whatever else. Not just, I want it to be a space where other people will feel comfortable coming to ask me if they could do,
live podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want it to be a real like center of the community. And we kind of talked about this earlier as well. Like, I don't want it to be a place where like people are like clamoring to come to. I think if I do open, it will be quietly, and you might not know about it for a little while, but it will be really special to me.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
Okay, these are from others. So this is from Monica.
Love.
What was the scariest part of her whole journey in cooking?
Being perceived and having your cooking perceived, but also that's what strengthens the scariness, strengthens your want and need to continue. But always, as soon as you present anything to anyone, like, you're open to being perceived, and it's really horrible and scary, but it also drives me.
Okay, this is sort of related, also from Monica. Does she ever feel imposter syndrome, and about what aspect in cooking?
Absolutely, all the time. I think anyone that is saying that they never experience imposter syndrome is lying. And honestly, usually, we kind of talked about it. It's like some of the dishes that I want to put out, and I'm like, will people get it? And I think I'm learning that I'm going to just kind of have to move past that. And going back to the lamb ragu toast, it's kind of given me the confidence to kind of work through those imposter syndrome type moments. But yeah, I think probably it will be like plucking up the courage to put the dishes on that I'm like, is this too simple? Will people get this it's a very British whatever? And I think, you just got to move past it.
Yeah, like New York.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, this is from Heidi. Best food vacation, and what did you eat?
Best food vacation. Oh, there's not one singular. I think it's going to be Italy, because it's all encompassing for me. The people, the landscape, the food, the community, the simpleness, the peasant style eating, the 3 ingredients to an incredible pasta. And then just experiencing it because I went to culinary school last year, from that perspective it was life-changing. So I think Italian food, yeah.
Okay, this is from Danielle, and sort of related. It seems that you are quite the travel bug and wanderlust gal. But what about LA? What have you loved about Los Angeles, where you call home?
Everything. I have met the most amazing friends that I've ever met in my entire life in LA. I have obviously wonderful friends from everywhere that I've lived, but I have met my people. I have met my community. I've never felt more seen, more heard, more supported. I love the city. I love how big it is. I love that if I want to go to Beverly Hills, I can, if I want to go to Sunset Tower and get a martini, I can, but then I can also chill on the east side and feel at home here. I've never felt more at home in my adult life as I do right now in Los Angeles. This is where I was always meant to be. I love the people. I love that it's so diverse. I love that we have the ocean, we have the mountains. Yeah, it's the best place on earth for me.
Oh, I love that. Okay, this is also from Danielle. Where do you find recipe inspiration?
Everywhere. Everywhere. The people I meet, the places I travel, the flowers that I see at the market, talking to people, reading cookbooks. I intake so much food media. It's truly wild. Like, I'm always sat reading cookbooks. I read them like novels. I'm always reading food writing. I'm always on Instagram. And I say, like, you know, certain dishes will influence me, but like, I won't be like creating that dish. I'll taste a flavor in that dish and think, oh, do you know what? Like today I made the farinata today with, what did I make it with? Caraway seeds, because I had like a rosemary and caraway seed scone the other day. And this morning I was like, oh, I'm going to put caraway, you know what I mean? Like, cool. Yeah. So everything, it's all around us. Inspiration is for food is everywhere.
Oh, I love that. Okay, this one might not be. This is also from Danielle. Chloe on the go. Share with us where your next pop-up is, but I don't know exactly when this will be coming out. But we want to do an event together, so hopefully there'll be information about that. Whatever.
Well, I'm going to do my next one is going to be at Cafe Della Grama on November the 14th. So we may have already missed the boat on that one, but I have tons more pop-ups coming up this year. I've got already in talks with 2 other places in New York early next year, maybe New York in a couple of weeks, and then next summer. I mean, I could list everywhere, but I'll do a quick. So it's gonna be London. So far, I've got London, Scotland, cool. Athens, Puglia, and south of France lined up for pop-ups. But so again, it's literally next summer, so there's so much to plan. But I'm going to be in Europe for a chunk next year.
So exciting. Okay, these are from our patron saint of this this episode, Kate. Last meal, oysters to start, and then also latkes with caviar and creme fraiche. Then I want a bowl of minestrone soup. Then I want a New York strip steak with au poivre sauce, and I want the potatoes with that. And then for dessert, I want sticky toffee pudding with salted caramel sauce and unsalted whipped cream. That was the greatest answer to that question. Just rattled it off so well. That was incredible. Gas station snack, also from Kate.
Honestly, this is really boring. I'll try and find fruit. I'll try and find an apple or banana. I don't like gas station snacks. If I ever road trip, I take my own lunch.
I think that is what I would do, and I hate to speak for Kate, but I feel like she would probably be looking for that as well. Do you ever look at, this is from me, by the way, because I'm also a friend, so I'm allowing myself to jump in here. Do you ever look at people and guess what their favorite food might be?
No, actually. But I do get surprised when I get to know people and realize some foods that they don't enjoy. So, for instance, like I always get shocked when someone doesn't like, I don't know, seafood. Or
it's kind of a lot of people, like a decent amount.
It is, and I'm like, you guys, you're missing out. Or I don't ever like guess what they don't like from the outset, but I'm always quite surprised when I see when I get to know people's eating habits, that some people really don't like quite a lot, like many things. Yeah.
That's again, like it goes back to the intimacy of it. There's something about knowing someone through what they like or what they don't like. You can kind of, not even in a judgmental way, but I've had this moment, I think in dating too, where you're like, yeah. You're like, there's something there of knowing what people eat and like and don't like that can be telling.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, this is from Lauren. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten or prepared?
Strangest thing I've ever eaten? I mean, it's not that strange. Snails, I think, in Paris, but
you like them?
Everyone should eat snails. They're delicious.
I didn't love when I tried them like my first night in Paris, but it was maybe the the snail we had.
Oh,
and I feel
them.
like I'm open to everything.
Everything covered in garlic butter is divine to me. I guess also
they were raw. It was on like a seafood.
Oh no.
Yeah, it didn't work
raw
for me.
Snail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
no,
it wasn't cooked in anything, and it was cold. It was like with oysters, like
Interesting. Okay, I've never had them like that. Maybe.
I don't.
But I love all raw.
Me too.
I love
so that's why I was down.
Yeah.
But
I'm not that. I just don't love rabbit. I don't enjoy eating rabbit, and I love like game. Like so I'm not like I eat many different animals. For some reason, I just don't love rabbit.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the question.
No, I was going to add to it and ask what foods you didn't like. So that was excellent. This was a delight. We have talked for fully 2 hours. Wow. You have to get to your call, but I love you so much. Thank you for doing this.
Love you too. Thank you so much for asking me.
Is there anything that's called Let It Out? So is there anything that you wish that I would have asked that you never get to talk about that you want to add?
No, I think we've covered so much fun stuff. And then also things that were important to talk about, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for this conversation and being my friend.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we end by letting out a deep breath. So you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Inhale. Let it out. We did it. And the card worked. Okay, that was my episode with Chloe. Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. Thank you so much to Chloe for everything that she shared and how open she was and how much time we spent. This episode, listen, it was the episode that almost wasn't. And that's because I forgot the SD card at my house and I could have just gone back to get it, but I was already there, and anyway, she had an extra SD card from her camera. We popped it out, we put it in, and the whole time, I gotta be honest with you, I was a little bit anxious that it wasn't gonna work or wasn't gonna record, because I really loved this conversation, and I didn't think, we would have just been able to re-record it because she's obviously so kind, but I don't know, we might not have been able to catch lightning in a bottle twice. So I'm really grateful that the little SD card that could recorded this and that you're able to listen to it right now. Subscribe to her Substack right now. Follow everything that she's doing. She's incredible on Instagram and Anchovies and Soup. And again, I just really appreciate her being here. We're going to do more together. We're going to do an event together. So if you want information on that, follow both of our Substacks. I have one too. It's called Let It Out Lists. And I just am so grateful that you are listening all the way right now to the very bitter end. It's the holidays. Can you believe it? Again, also speaking of, happy Thanksgiving week. I don't really have more to say about that other than remember the Black Friday offer from Magic Mind. Give it a go. It's currently 50% off until the 6th of December, only with my link, which is magicmind.com/LIOBF. Give that a go. Follow everything that Chloe does closely. Keep in touch with us. My name is Katie Dalebow. If you want to know more about me, you know where to find me. Let us know if you listen to this. Post it on Instagram. Also, this podcast itself has an Instagram, believe it or not. It's Let It Out with 3 T's. It's also me, actually, turns out. But feel free to mention both of us and all 3 of us, and we will repost it and share it with other people. If you liked this, please share it with a friend. It helps so much. Truly, you have no idea. I'm just so grateful that I'm able to do this at all and get to have these conversations with friends and strangers. It will be 12 years next year, which is wild. I cannot believe I'm still doing this, but I'm really grateful that I am, and that's because you are listening right now. So more soon, more next week. We have a couple interesting wild card sort of episodes coming out, and I will talk to you then. This podcast is edited by Jeremiah. Bye-bye.